Hi guys, my name's Jared, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be working on my Honda Civic and I've got a new carbon rear hatch to install. So this is the carbon, or I guess you'd call it a tailgate, not so much a hatch, that I got from China off Tailgate, which is Chinese eBay. And you can see the rear part is just made of fiberglass and the front is just skinned with carbon. But it looks pretty good, like all the holes and mounting tabs and bolt holes and everything look to be on here. So this is currently what the rear tailgate looks like. So I think for disassembly we got these two 10mm bolts here and here, and wiring harness we're going to have to push out there and also here. Then there's going to be these two bolts under here for the cable here that holds the tailgate. First you want to start by removing the Phillips screw around the latch mechanism, then pull up evenly along the edges for the trim. Then you can finish pulling that last bit out and pull the trim up towards yourself. Then you want to go on to disconnecting the lights and the earth strap off the mechanism, and then pull up these plastic clips on the wiring harness. Repeat for the other side. There's also one on the center latch and an earth in the middle. Then you want to remove the cable. Just got to pop the ball off and unseat the plastic clip on the harness. Then pull the cable out of the tailgate and the bottom grommet. Then move on to the license plate lights. It's just two Phillips and you'll just need a screwdriver to pop it down. It might be a bit tight if it's old and never come out. Then remove the wiring harness off that plug, and then you'll be able to pull the whole thing out the grommet on the bottom of the tailgate. Then you've got some 10mm bolts on both sides holding the straps in. The tailgate's going to drop down when you remove them, and then you can move on to removing the 4 on the hinge that hold the tailgate in. Just going to have to hold the tailgate up with one hand while you remove the final bolt. Alright, so that wasn't too bad getting the tailgate off. So now you pretty much got to transfer everything from this one into this one. So that means the latch and the rods, the mechanism, the lights, the rubber trims, all of these clips in here, and then also this latching mechanism for when you close it. First thing that doesn't fit is this little slot here for the locating dowel. So the holes are slightly out on the ones they've attached here. So I'm just going to need to open up this one slightly larger. This hole is so bad fitting even when I've elongated it. I've just decided to put 2 bolts in for now, just to see how it's going to close. Start by removing the rods on the center latch release, and you'll have 2 Phillips on the side holding that mechanism in. Then you have to remove the 2 Phillips screws holding the latches on the side. You'll be able to pull it out and then pop that rod out. Next problem that doesn't fit. Got that screw in there, trying to do this bracket up. You can see there's this massive bulge here for no reason, stopping that gap from closing. And there's nothing on the outside here besides bolt part for the strap. So I'm going to have to grind this section out so this can sit flat. So I finally got this latch to fit. I've got the original bolt hole here, but you can see how far across I've had to re-drill the second one. And then in the back here, you can see I've had to grind all the way to where the riv nut is. I had to remove all of the fiberglass around it and even grind a bit into that riv nut in order to fit it. So I imagine looking at the other side, it's going to be exactly the same. To grind it, I use this die grinder with this round bit on, because you can sort of put it in and move it around. Next, I was just about to reinstall this latch. One of the plastic inserts has attached. The other one won't fit in properly. You're just going to need a little file like this to go around the edges to open it up a bit. So I just got the other side installed, and I had to grind it away just as you saw on the other side. But actually these 2 holes lined up in this case. Then I got the rod that runs from this mechanism to here, and from the green to this mechanism, and you already saw me do the boot lock. Now I'm just going to open up all of these holes because they're not big enough for the plastic trim, so we can install all these metal clips in, and it's just a 6mm drill bit. Next, I'm just going to remove the lights. So these 2 8mm on the side and 1 in the middle here. Same on this side, and then they just push out the bottom. The trim here was difficult to install because the fiberglass molding was thicker than the thin seal on the metal. I'm just using a soft hammer here to tap it on and make sure it stays in place. Then you got to put these caps in the bottom for the drain holes, and then start 1 bolt on both sides, and then you'll be able to let the tailgate sit. Unsurprisingly enough, the bolt holes didn't line up, so I had to drill out the bracket to 8mm on the metal here, on this part of the bracket, and I was able to get the bolts in and started. So next, just going to continue reassembling and put the cables on the side. So you just saw bolting these on. I had to open up the hole for the locating dowel in here on both sides, and this one as well. So once you've got everything installed, see I've got the harness now plugged in and the latch and the mechanism all done like before, and you just got to run the harnesses through there. And I've got the cables on the side. So when you close it, if you have problems closing it like it won't latch, to adjust it you just have to undo these 2 bolts. This top hole is elongated, so you can actually rotate this and bring it closer to the tailgate if it's not latching, or if it's latching too early and the body line's out, you can rotate it back in as well. So now it's flush, and the hatch. I just realised after I went to plug in the lights that this tailgate doesn't have any provisions for lights. So I've just gone on eBay and ordered some license plate lights, because here in Australia, if you don't have any, then you can't pass roadworthy and you'll get pulled over by the cops. Also, I put the little rubber grommet back in around the keyhole too, and I realised that somehow a little piece of paper's got inside there, so I need to get that out. Alright, I got a bit carried away and threw the plastic cover back on the tailgate, and then reinstalled the trim here. One thing I didn't film, fortunately, there's a earth strap with a 6mm bolt right in the middle here. That's a ground, but because the tailgate's now fiberglass, you can't actually ground it on there. So I just cut the terminal off and extended the wire back through and made a small hole in the bottom, and that earth now is on the bolt here for the tailgate, and that will earth through this mechanism here, so the lights work. One thing, it's a bit annoying, like the plastic is centered and clipped in everywhere, but when you close it on this side, it does get caught a little bit, and you just have to sort of put it in, and it closes now like we saw before. I went and threw my Type R badge back on as well, and this shuts easily. So I think it looks pretty good and it lines up. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the tailgate. The fitment on a lot of the holes and the brackets was terrible, so expect to spend at least 4 to 6 hours on just fixing up the holes and all the brackets and that, but you can get there in the end. It's possible. I think looks wise, looks really good. Bit annoyed that I didn't have the tailgate lights, that they don't work, but I found a fix for that. I've ordered some stuff on eBay that's coming, so I'll do a future video on that when they come. If you have any questions, put them down below. If not, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video.